Good day, kids. How are you today? I hope you're alright. Before we start our new lesson, let me ask you a few questions. Are you familiar about the different elements of the story? Setting, character, and plot? Well, if you're not, let's talk about it later. For today's lesson, we have elements of a story. In this lesson, you're expected to identify the important story elements such as setting, character, and plot. Next, analyze the story elements, setting, character, and plot. And lastly, retell information from what listened to. Now, let us begin. A story has three main key elements. These are namely setting, character, and plot. Let's talk about setting first. The setting of story is where and when does the story takes place. Where refers to the location, while when refers to time. Now, can you spot where the setting of the story is? Earlier this day, my mother told me to go to the market and buy some vegetables for her soup. So, I went to the market and buy good quality vegetables. Earlier this day and market are the setting of the story. Earlier this day answers the question when, while market answers the question where. Did you get it? That's great! Now, let's move on. Next element, character. A character is either a person, an animal, or thing which takes part in an action in a story. Now, can you spot the characters of this story? Tom ran away from the garden as Jerry caught him picking the flowers. Who are the characters of this story? That's right. Tom and Jerry are the characters of this story. And lastly, plot. Plot is the most important element of a story. It's made up of a series of events which makes up a story. It is divided into three: beginning, middle, and end. Beginning gives the problem faced by the main character. Middle presents the actions made by the character to solve the problem. And lastly, ending. It gives the solution to the problem. Did you get it? That's great! Now, let me read you a story. Are you ready? Just sit back, enjoy, and most importantly, listen carefully. You may also want to take down the key elements of the story that I will be going to read for you to be able to answer the different questions that will be given to you later. Okay now, so let us start. The story is entitled The Cicada and the Fox from Aesop's Fable. One hot summer day, Cicada was singing on the top of a tree. At the very moment, a fox was passing by under the same tree. "Oh, I'm so hungry. That cicada will be a great meal. But it's too high. How can I catch that cicada?" thought a hungry fox. Finally, she made an evil plan. "Hello there, you're really a great singer. Your voice is so beautiful and it makes me feel so happy," said the fox. "Oh, really? "Thank you. I'm glad to hear you like it," replied the cicada. He was completely flattered by the fox. "I wish I could sing as well as you." "Why don't I give you some fruit and you teach me to sing?" offered the fox. "You want me to come down there?" asked the cicada. "Why not? I want to hear you sing a little closer," said the cunning fox. Without thinking even once, Cicada said, "Okay then, I will be right there." The fox remembered the taste of the cicada and licked his lips. He then said, "I'll be watching for you. I'm so genius." Immediately, something flew down the top of the tree. Without seeing what it was, the fox gobbled it. She cried, "What is this? Leaves?" Cicada said, "I knew it. Did you think I'd fall for your trick? I once saw a cicada's wings in a fox pool. I have not believed foxes since then. No way I'm getting down there." It was the fox who ate all the cicadas from the forest. The fox went away from the tree, starving for food. From that day, cicadas do not trust any of the foxes ever again. Now, let us try to answer the following question. First, who are the characters of the story? That's right. Cicada and the fox are the characters of the story. Next one. When and where does the story take place? So the setting of our story is one hot summer day at the forest. Did you get it? And lastly, tell me whether it was a beginning, middle, or end of the story. Have you enjoyed our simple activity? That's great! Now try to do this yourself. Here's the instruction. Listen to the story, Jack and the Beanstalk. On a one whole sheet of paper, identify the setting, character, and write a simple plot of the story. And then after that, retell the story using the plot you've made.
Once upon a time, there was a boy called Jack. He lived with his mother. They were very poor. All they had was a cow. One morning, Jack's mother told Jack to take their cow to market and sell her. On the way, Jack met a man. He gave Jack some magic beans for the cow. Jack took the beans and went back home. When Jack's mother saw the beans, she was very angry. She threw the beans out of the window. The next morning, Jack looked out of the window. There was a giant beanstalk. He went outside and started to climb the beanstalk. He climbed up to the sky through the clouds. Jack saw a beautiful castle. He went inside. Jack heard a voice.
Fee, fi, fo, fum.
Jack ran into a cupboard. An enormous giant came into the room and sat down. On the table there was a hen and a golden harp.
Lay.
Said the giant. The hen laid an egg. It was made of gold.
Sing.
Said the giant. The harp began to sing. Soon the giant was asleep. Jack jumped out of the cupboard. He took the hen and the harp. Suddenly, the harp sang.
Help, master!
The giant woke up and shouted.
Fee, fi, fo, fum.
Jack ran and started climbing down the beanstalk. The giant came down after him. Jack shouted.
Mother, help!
Jack's mother took an axe and chopped down the beanstalk. The giant fell and crashed to the ground. Nobody ever saw him again. With the golden eggs and the magic harp, Jack and his mother lived happily ever after.
How's our activity? Have you enjoyed it? Well, that's great. Now, let us summarize our discussion for today. Again, what are the three main key elements of the story that we have discussed? That's right. The three main key elements of the story that we have discussed today are setting, character, and plot. Next, how can we identify the setting of the story? Correct. For us to be able to identify the setting of the story, always remember these two terms, when and where. When refers to time and where refers to the location where the story takes place. Did you get it? Next one, how can we determine the characters of the story? That's right. The characters of the story are those who takes place in an action in a story. And lastly, what is a plot? And what are the different parts of a plot? Great! Plot is the most important element of the story. It is made up of a series of events which makes up the story. It's divided into three parts, namely, beginning, middle, and end. At this point, let us try to test your learning about our lesson for today. Are you ready? How's our lesson? I hope you have enjoyed and learned a lot on our lesson for today. That's all for now. See you next time.